My name is Dantes Akram. I'm a 23-year-old entrepreneur from Cleveland, Ohio, father, hustler, two-time six-figure business owner, and as well as a seven-figure business owner. I own the #1 clothing brand server in the world, Limitless Investments. Come check us out. Yo, what's up? It's your boy, The Real Tez, aka Dantes Akram. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another episode with your boy Tez. Guys, if this is your first time ever coming to any of my YouTube videos, make sure you guys go ahead and click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you guys comment any questions that you guys may have for me when it comes to e-commerce, stocks, trading, long-term investing, social media, creating content, whatever it is. Let me know in the chat down below and I'll personally answer every single one of those comments in the chat right now. So let me know what you guys have for me. Make sure you guys check me out on Instagram @_TheRealTez. But besides those, we are now tapped into the YouTube video. Welcome to my video on how to go from 0 to 5 figures a month with your e-commerce brand. The secrets that I'm going to tell you right now are things that I've learned throughout the last 3 years from taking multiple brands from 0 to 5 figures to 6 figures and even 7 figures all in the last 3 years with multiple different brands. So these things are going to be things that I haven't really touched on too much outside of my programs and the in-person events that I do sometimes. However, if you're watching this free YouTube video right now, then you're going to be able to tap in right now. So make sure you guys pull out a notepad. Make sure you guys go ahead and write this down. And again, like, subscribe, share this to a friend who needs it. And we're about to tap into the information. Let's get it. So guys, with us being inside of 2023, the things that we did in 2022 and 2021 and 2020, they just not working the same, right? There's all types of different AI systems. There's all different new types of information that you guys can be utilizing to your advantage right now. However, some of the foundational things that we used back in 2022 are still going to be things that we can use right now, right? So one of those things that I would say is the #1 thing that took me from 0 to 5 figures a month with my e-commerce brand is #1, understanding how to sell, right? In order to sell, you have to learn how to make content that is valuable enough to sell the product itself, right? So for example, whether it's a drop shipping brand, whether it's a e-commerce or a clothing brand, or whether it's a candle business or whatever it is, the #1 thing that I talk about personally is branding, right? I personally believe there's no reason that a brand like Nike or Adidas or Coca-Cola or Gap and all of these different brands, there's a reason that they're actually staying around over these long periods of time. And that's because of branding and what they represent while they're actually going about selling these products, right? So for example, if you guys are tapped into, let's say, American Eagle or Aeropostale and things like that, for a long time as I was a kid in middle school, those were the top brands for you to be wearing, right? But not only was it because of word of mouth or because of this is what the kids and this is what the trend was, but it also was because of what they stood for, right? And this is again the same thing with a lot of these really big companies that are out here right now. And if you're gonna build a successful e-commerce brand, one that can go from 5 to 6 figures, you have to learn how to actually sit down and understand what the meaning of your brand is. So whether you're starting an e-commerce brand that's focused on clothing and it's, luxury based, or if it's travel based, or if it's, more so based for, people who live by beaches and whatever it is, you got to learn how to niche down and understand what your branding is and explain those things through content, right? So for me, I think one of the biggest things that I learned how to do over the last couple of years is storytelling. I think a lot of people sleep on the fact that you guys can use your personal audience to push into your business audience. So realistically speaking, right, when you first start your business, not 10 times out of 10, actually, you're going to have 0 followers on that Instagram business page. So for the people who are going to ask me, Ted, should I separate my business from my Instagram page, my personal Instagram? Absolutely. But the thing you should be doing is you should be using your personal page as a way to push your current audience over to the other Instagram page, which is your business page. And that's where you're going to be posting majority of the business orientated things along with on your personal page as well, right? So the #1 thing that I would recommend to you guys is first, again, understanding what type of audience that you have and what type of audience you're trying to reach. As an e-commerce business owner, one of my most important things that I have to ask myself is like, what niche am I in? What type of person, what type of customer am I trying to find? So the best way to find this answer, if you're still struggling with this, whether it's a drop shipping business or clothing, whatever it is, the #1 question you should ask yourself is, what is this? Who is this person? Who, right? And if I can't ask myself who and find out an immediate answer, can I put myself in the customer's shoes? Can I create an avatar for myself to actually bring up a persona that I actually need to go ahead and start running ads to, or creating content to, or creating the meaning and the clothing around, this specific avatar that I have right here, right? So this is an easy way for a lot of you guys who are out there right now who are struggling with this one particular thing. This is an easy way for you to go ahead and jump into this game and immediately start figuring out, okay, what little knickknacks do I need to learn how to put together to make this thing work, right? So the number one thing is going to be your niche and your audience. So if you're a luxury based brand, you can't be doing certain things that the rest of the other brands are doing. You may have to take your pictures and your clothes next to Rolls Royces or next to Lamborghinis, or, you may have to send it to people who are going to be living in California and living in big lifestyles, or you may have to sell a little bit of lifestyle to sell that brand in particular, right? But again, this is why it's important to understand your avatar, right? So here's the questions that you should be asking in order to find what particular avatar you should be selling to, right? Who are they? What do they like to see on social media? This is the hands down number one thing you should know. Who do they like to follow, right? What posts do they engage with the most? Are they dramatic people? Do they like Shade Room, right? Do they tap in with Baller Alert at all? Do they tap in with all of these big promo pages like Wealth and things like that? Which pages are they tapped in with, right? The second thing is, who is their favorite artist? Do they listen to R&B? Do they listen to hip hop? Or do they listen to classical music and jazz? What do they listen to, right? The next thing you should be asking after that is, what do they read? Or do they read at all? What sports do they watch? What foods do they eat? You need to figure out all of these different things about your specific avatar to best sell to that specific person. So if you don't know those things, this is the number one reason you're probably not selling any of your products, because your messaging is completely off. How can you present this product to this person in a way where it makes them feel like they need this product if you don't even know anything about this person? It's all a cycle. So until you learn what this person is and who they are, you're never going to be able to sell this product to that person. That's just the flat out numbers of it, right? So in order to go ahead and do that, you got to sit down and figure out who your avatar is. And this right here was hands down the number one thing that has taken multiple of my brands from $0 to either 6 or 7 figures or multi 7 figures. And this is, again, if you're a new business owner, I know it may sound cliche. I know it may sound like everybody talks about this, Tez, and all these things, because it's true. You listen to the people who are doing the things that you've always wanted to do, right? So there's a thing about experience, right? Experience will always be the number one teacher, no matter who it is, no matter what's teaching, doesn't matter. Experience will always be the number one teacher. So how can you go about building a successful business without having a little bit of experience first? So if you don't go out and experiment with these different avatars and these different niches, how can you ever know what works and what doesn't work? Right? It's the same thing with happiness and being sad. If you never learn how to be sad, if you never learn how to overcome obstacles, how do you truly know what it's like to be happy? That's a question you have to ask yourself, right? So the second thing that I would tell you guys, in order to go from 0 to 5 figures a month, or a 5-figure brand, or even a 6-figure brand, right, is not only the niche in your branding, right? But the second thing is how you're going to go about this certain business model that you have. What's your marketing strategy? Like, how are you creating content in a way where it's actually exhilarating for people to actually follow you as opposed to your competition? And one thing that you may need to do is follow your competition. See what your competition is doing. See what your competitors are doing, and see what works for them. Look at the posts that are doing the best numbers when it comes to likes and comments, because 9 times out of 10, based off of UGC, which is user generated content, the more people who like, share, and comment on posts, this directly relates to the actual conversions on their website, right? So if you're getting a post, or if you see a post that has a lot of likes, a lot of comments and things like that, then 9 times out of 10, that person is able to make a lot of money from that post, because a lot of people are already sharing it, commenting on it, and liking it, right? So these are things that you want to watch out for when it comes to your competitors. Also, look at how the messaging is for your competitors, right? Go on their website, go look at what their layout on their homepage looks like. Go look at the product descriptions. Is their descriptions cleaner than yours? How can you clean yours up? How can you make yours look a little bit better? Can you undercut the competition? I think a lot of people don't even talk about that in e-commerce, is that if you're selling a trending product, you're going to have to undercut at some point in time. That's the only way you're going to be able to make more money over a longer period of time is by undercutting the competition that's already going at it with you, or who may have already started before you. So you got to go ahead and look at what your competition is doing, and then you got to also make sure that what you're doing is out competing the competition, or you're producing more content, or you're producing more of a branding style that resonates with that audience. Because again, if you don't do those things, you're never going to be able to take a business from $0 to 5 figures to 6 figures, even to 7 figures. So these are core concepts that you need to know. All right. Now, if you're a business owner and you're already, let's say you've probably made your first 10,000, your first 15,000, your first 25,000, or even if you're a business owner, you're doing 5 figures a month right now. What's going to be the thing that takes you from 5 figures to 6 figures? All right. That number one thing is going to be outsourcing. Hands down. Hiring people. Look, trust me, I know it's probably nerve-wracking to think about, wow, I got to hire somebody. What does that look like and things like that? Look, don't overcomplicate it. When you're jumping into this game, and I'm not a tax professional, but you guys can hire a contractor, right? You can literally hire a contractor, a person from Fiverr, a family member. I don't recommend doing business with family, just so you guys know. But however, if you want to, that's completely up to you. Just make sure you know how to manage it, right? But hire a contractor, hire somebody that isn't necessarily an employee, because when you have an employee, you have certain tax things that you have to deal with, like health insurance and all of those different things that you have to deal with. When you have a contractor, you don't necessarily have to deal with all those things, right? So what I recommend is hiring contractors and putting them under your belt. Now, let me be honest with you. If you're going to take a business from 0 to 5 figures and 0 to 6 figures, from 0 to 6 figures, it is all you. I'm just being honest. It's all you figuring out what works, what doesn't work. How does customer service work? Shipping. What does the system look like for shipping? What does your email marketing look like? What does your text message marketing look like? What does your marketing look like? How much are you spending on ads? You are every single person within that business. And this is the realistic thing that every single business owner had to do, especially in the beginning of their phases. They had to put on every single hat within their business in order to take a business from 0 to 6 figures. You just got to figure out, right, which one do you need to delegate the most? And I'm going to answer that question for you. All right. If you're an e-commerce business owner, whether it's clothing brands, whether it's whatever, drop shipping, whatever, 9 times out of 10, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, the first hire you're going to have is a customer service person. The reason I say this is because there's going to be emails, there's going to be DMs, there's going to be comments, there's going to be likes and things that you don't necessarily want to deal with, especially after your brand gets to, let's say, is doing $15,000 a month. These are things that I experienced. So what I try to teach my students is that we should be working smarter, not harder. Just because you're putting in more time into the business does not mean the time that you're putting in is generating more money. Those are two completely different things. There's a lot of business owners who are CEOs, right, who work less than the majority of people but make more money than them. It's because they've outsourced things. They've hired people to do the things that they don't necessarily want to do. The number one reason you're creating an e-commerce brand or an e-commerce business is to get your time back. So you don't want to create more jobs for yourself where you're sitting there and doing all of these different components and different things that you don't necessarily absolutely need to do. Right? So this is when you hire other people. So when you get to that point where you're profitable within your business and month in and month out without you even thinking about it, everything is strategic. When your drops are, when you drop in a new product, your profit margins and everything, when all of that stuff is strategic and then you just cannot handle the load of customer service issues that's coming in, that's when you should go ahead and outsource a person, right? So you could literally hire somebody from Fiverr, from the Philippines, and pay them literally $6 an hour to handle all of your customer service issues, whether it be emails, whether it be DMs. And there's a dope app that you guys can download. It's called LastPass, right? Now there's a bunch of different apps out there that obviously do these same exact things, but LastPass allows you guys to go ahead and share your passwords with individuals via email without giving them the actual email address. So it gives them the populated password, right? So it's encoded. They can't actually see what it is, but you can share it directly to their computer. Their computer will import that same password into whatever platform you're giving them access to, and it'll allow them to log in. And if at any time you needed to log them out, or if anything happened, you can literally click unenroll or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the word was, but you can literally click that button. It'll automatically sign them out of whatever platform that they're on, whether it be Instagram, whether it be emails, doesn't matter what it is. This is an easy way for you guys to go ahead and start hiring people, integrating them into your current systems without them knowing everything about your business, like passwords and things like that, because that stuff is extremely important. And if you mess around and you give your passwords out to the wrong person, you might lose everything. So I highly recommend using LastPass or another platform that is similar to it. All right. Now, the next tip that I would give you guys in order to go from 0 to 5 figures and even 6 figures is learning how to create content, right? Like, you got to learn how to make high quality content. In today's age, if you are not focused on content, you're going to be left behind. I can guarantee it within 120 days. And I promise you, I'd never guarantee anything outside of death. I know for a fact that if you don't be creative in how you're making content, within the next 120 days to the exact number, you will be left behind. More people will be more innovative. More people will start using more technology. More people will use AI to come up with different content and strategies and how they come up with different ideas. And even when it comes to designs and even when it comes to illustrations through content, if you don't learn how to keep up with the current trends, you're going to be left behind. So your number one thing right now is research. How can I make higher quality content? What products do I need? Right? Everything is an investment into yourself in the beginning of your business, especially when you're profitable out the gate. You should be buying that camera. You should be buying that microphone. You should be buying more samples. You should be buying, information. The number one thing, what I've realized in my life is that the number one investment that you can make is in information or in experiences. Those are two of the best teachers in the entire planet. There's nothing else that's going to top those two things right there. Right? So the number one way to create high quality content is go seek how to go create that. So whether it's watching my content, whether it's YouTubing, how to make great YouTube shorts, or how to make great TikToks and reels and things like that, whatever it is, just go do the research. For me, when I first got started, I went down a rabbit hole of different things that I wanted to learn within my business, because I understood that if I just learned all of these key components and if I just got okay with it, then I could just get some results. But then when you start growing a real business and you get to 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, you start outsourcing it to people who are better in those specific categories and those components than you are. And when they start doing an even better job, you start getting a higher ROI in their specific department. And that's the number one thing that's going to be able to scale your business a lot quicker, is by outsourcing it to people who know how to do these things very well. So if you're not at that point just yet, then it's probably because you haven't had enough skin in the game yet, or you don't have just enough experience, or you don't know the right techniques to create high quality content, right? So again, we have a content video on my YouTube page. Make sure you guys go check it out. It'll be tagged down below in the description as well. And real quick, while we have the time, I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Limitless Investments. It is the #1 e-commerce brand server in the entire world with over 9,400 members, and we're constantly growing every single day. So if you're looking to get outside of their current environment and join an environment of people who are actually persistent and wanting to go through different things to get to where they're trying to get to, make sure you guys tap in and click the link in the chat, or go to www.limitlessinvestments with a Z instead of an S.com. Make sure you guys tap in with us, right? Now, the last tip that I would give you to go from 0 to 5 figures, or even from 5 figure to 6 figures, whatever it is mastering advertising. All right. Now, whether you're good at it or not, let me tell y'all the honest to God truth. I lost a bunch of money in the beginning when I was starting ads. And for me, I started off working at a sales job, selling cars, and I was learning ads within there because I was testing on their computers. I couldn't even afford a computer myself. But for me, I was so intrigued by the idea of learning the skill set of learning how to run Facebook ads or Instagram ads or whatever platform it was on. I was so intrigued by it because I knew that it had a direct impact on my current value. I knew that if I learned how to run Facebook ads, I would learn how to do something that 70% of most business owners don't know how to do. And if I could just become okay at it, then I could probably make more money than 70% of people out there. Not saying you're comparing yourself, but let's just be realistic, right? If you're going to do better than the majority that are out there, especially your competitors, you have to learn skill sets that they don't know. Or you have to hire somebody who is better than the people that they already hired, if they even hired anybody, right? So these are core components that you need to learn. How do Facebook ads work? Why should you use Instagram ads? What are the difference between the two? How much should you even start off testing out? Should you start with a $50 or $100 budget? These are all core things that you need to know. How much should you spend over 7 days before you turn your ads off? If you don't know the answer to any of these things, you need to hit YouTube right now. You need to hit me up in my DMs. You need to come to one of the classes in Limitless Investments and see how we run our Facebook ads, see how we run advertising, because these are core things that every business owner needs to know, especially before you start outsourcing it to other people. You got to think about it. If an ad agency came to you right now and they say, hey, we can do this for $3,000 a month, but you know absolutely nothing about Facebook ads, you wouldn't know if they're doing a good job or a bad job. And this is why putting on every single hat within your business is so important, because you need to know what it looks like to do a great job and what it looks like to do a good job and what it looks like to do a bad job. And this is why majority of businesses collapse within the first 2 years of their creation, right? Because they don't know what works and what works and what doesn't work. And they don't know how to outsource. They don't know when the right time to start spending money on ads is. They don't know how to make the right content. They don't know how to create content consistently, and you don't know how to be persistent. You see, I heard from DC Young Fly. Shout out to him. He said persistence is failing and going through struggle, but getting back up over and over and over consistently. Consistency is just doing something over and over. And if you fail, you might just fail and say, I quit. But persistence is a different ball game. So if you want to take a business from 0 to 5 figures or 0 to 6 figures or 6 figures to 7 figures, all of it takes persistence. That's the number one thing that every big entrepreneur has, is persistency, right? They are willing to be resilient regardless of the hurdles that's put in front of them. They know that, hey, look, if I don't have this solution today, best believe I get it tomorrow. And there's no other way you're going to be able to build a profitable business outside of having that type of mindset. You're going to take some L's in this game, yo. I'm not going to lie to you. I think there's a bunch of Instagram YouTubers and things like that make up all this fluff that make it seem like everything's going to be roses and rainbows and daisies and everything's going to be nice and easy. If you didn't realize already, my name is The Real Tez, and I'm going to keep it a buck with you. All right. You're going to fail. You're going to take certain losses, and you're going to feel shitty sometimes. But how you react in those moments when you're down is what will make up in the future on how you live on your life. Right. So if you ever wanted to live a life if you ever wanted to live a life where you're pleased with what you're doing every single day and you control your time, you control your decision making, you control what you do with your time. If you ever wanted to experience that, you got to go outside the box. And that's it for this YouTube video. So with that being said, if you guys like this YouTube video, if there's anything that I missed, if there's things that you guys want me to touch on for the next YouTube video, or even content ideas that you guys have for me that you will personally like for me to jump on, go ahead and drop them in the comments right now. And again, I love doing these YouTube videos. So again, if this was able to help you, please let me know. Share it to a friend, and make sure you guys check out our sponsor, Limitless Investments. It's your boy Tez. Make sure you guys tap in with me, _the real Tez on Instagram, Dantes Akram on Twitter. It's been your boy, and I got another YouTube video coming for y'all next week. Let's get it.